Thank you guys. Thanks for making time on this Friday evening. I understand that you all looking forward to the weekend and spending time with your family. Uh, but this is a very interesting discussion that we have in front of us today. Like we all keep hearing Indian fintech and the Indian fintech ecosystem has leapfrogged many of the other fintech ecosystem around the world, especially in South Asia, Southeast Asia, which I have seen firsthand. And one of the major driver towards that has been NPCI. The sort of work that we have seen on UPI and sort of the adoption that we are seeing on digital payment facilitated by the great work done by NPCI, it's non-trivial. So that's where I'm much honored to host today's panel with Jaydeep, Maulik, and Noel to talk about two very interesting facets of the new two very interesting facets around the financial services product which NPCI is coming forth with. I think a couple of them you all have been waiting for a long time. This is around the UPI auto pay, the standing instruction, uh, which enables a lot of functions of how you collect from your retailers, customers, a lot of other features around that. I'll let Maulik speak about that later. And similarly, around the NF reward, which is a very exciting feature which NPCI has just launched and the team will talk about. So today we have on panel, I'd like to welcome Maulik. Maulik leads enterprise solutioning in NPCI and will be sharing about UPI 2.0 and UPI AutoPay. He has more than 10 years experience in payments and he closely works with fintech, OMCS, financial services, insurance companies to help them in their digital payment journey. Uh, he will be talking today about UPI AutoPay. Feel free to ask as many questions as possible. Get your doubt cleared from Maulik. We also have Noel and Joydeep from the NPCI loyalty program and the alliances team. Noel leads the loyalty program at NPCI. His work has been largely focused around retention piece of the customer life cycle across financial and retail sector. So anything to do with retaining your customers through many such rewards program you see on the credit cards and other such functions. He is an expert on that and works closely on leads the loyalty program in NPCI for that. We also have Joydeep Deshpande, who looks after the loyalty platform and alliances in NPCI. He is an experienced person from e-commerce and payments industry, has had played multiple critical roles across various companies. So we would like to welcome them all on this panel. The, to set the agenda a bit, we will have first short presentations of from both UPI AutoPay team as well as the NPCI NF Reward team, and then we will open up for an open house. The idea is to have spend more time on questions and answering your doubts on these products and get them answered. The Q&A section is open as well. As this panel moves on, as we speak, even during presentation, you can keep putting your questions over there. If you like some questions, you can upvote those questions also so that we know how to prioritize question. Because of limitation of time, we might not be able to take all the questions over there, but we will welcome you to ask more and more questions as the presentation progresses, so that during the time of open house, we already have a bunch of curated questions which we can talk through. So over to you, Noel, Joydeep, to take us through the presentation and then make it an open house.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Anand. I'll just make a quick introduction and then I'll hand over the virtual mic to Noel over here to take you in depth to the presentation. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you all for being here. So as you all know, NPCI acts as a house of products and technologies. Now, while a lot of effort is spent on bringing a consumer onto a digital platform, one of the most challenging things is to keep that consumer transacting on that platform, to keep him there, and to induce a certain change in habit that makes it a natural flow for him to go to a particular platform or to go to a particular product. Now, the entire genesis of why NPCI got into the loyalty segment is to create a long-term engagement with the customer with short-term tangible rewards that the customer sees value in, real world, real currency value in. So with that in mind, 1 year ago, an RFP was done wherein we selected a technology vendor to build an entire loyalty platform, a loyalty suite for us. Now, this loyalty suite is an omni-channel platform. It is not restricted only to NPCI products. That is why there's a technology vendor. So we have a Chinese wall around that. The entire platform is open to all kinds of products. It is not only a card-based product. So if you look at India, typically loyalty has always been seen as a very card-centric platform. What we are trying to do with Nth Rewards is to change that perception and to integrate loyalty into every aspect of a business transaction. So with Nth Rewards, what we do is not just keep it transactional. Uh, it might be a milestone based reward. It can be an event based reward. However, whatever is your business goal, your customer at the end should feel a personalized connection to your product and a personalized reward too for a particular action that also complements your own business goal, right? So with that introduction, I'll hand it over to Noel to take you through the presentation, and we'll have a question and answer session on this particular topic towards the end of the thing, right? Over
Thank
to
you,
you, Noel.
Jadip. Thank you, Anand, for the brief introduction. Hi guys, thank you for joining us in. And so as Jadip said, the whole genesis of Nth Reward as a product was to create a product, which around loyalty, which could be unilaterally adopted by companies around to implement a program at your end, right? Now, loyalty as a concept has always been perceived as a really expensive sort of undertaking, right? Now, and the majority of the expense could be attributed to the loyalty technology, because traditionally you will see that the loyalty platform has been are created with a retail orientation, with keeping retail in mind, right? And when a non-retail sort of organization gets into a loyalty implementation, they tend to develop the entire platform from scratch, and wherein there's a lot of development effort which is put in, which really impacts the overall cost. And hence we wanted to create a platform which could be taken up by marketing teams who could create customized campaigns, at customized programs at your end, right? So that is where Nth Rewards came. And I mean, at Nth Reward we started out with identifying the broad challenges, which would be in a fintech or any BFSI segment, any brand, typically they find it difficult to differentiate their product offering. This could be due to similar products in the market, or overlapping of features. Every sort of product is trying to create their own sort of image, right? Unique sort of image, right? And this is where I would like to draw your attention to loyalty as an umbrella level product, which could help you differentiate your entire range of offering through a single program, right? And the others would be the reward cost. So most overused concept would be the cashback or the direct credit sort of incentives, which has Jadip said, it's primarily spray and pray approach, and which has a really high reward cost, and it doesn't really give you that yield when it comes to the overall retention, right? And then there is definitely the versatility. So uh, guys, of course, in terms of the approach, one program fits all sort of approach, it doesn't really work across, right? So creating customized programs and offering that power of choice to the consumer would definitely add value. So so with Nth Rewards, primarily we wanted to create a product which doesn't really restrict you when it comes to which doesn't really restrict you when it comes to creating programs. It doesn't tell you that this is the framework and this is where you would like to do, you can create a program. So it doesn't give you a broad level framework and tell you to program to create your program in a single way, right? So the whole idea is to sort of give you the platform, and you would be able to create your customized program for different segments. So this is what is the value proposition is: differentiate your product with the power of Nth Rewards, guys, which is clubbed with elements like loyalty, offers, and engagement. So guys, what we have done here is, we, with a single platform, we have included various other modules. One would be marketing automation. One would be the campaigns module. There is offers module. There's business analytics. What we have done is we have integrated a lot of modules which could empower the entities to implement a successful program, right? So this is the broad framework. Loyalty, technology, and engagement are the pillars of Nth Rewards. Technology is our core, and it's been powered by 4 modules, which is loyalty engine. So primarily, whenever a brand sort of takes up the entire platform, we offer a certain module, campaign management module, wherein they would be able to create their own customized campaigns, be it loyalty campaigns, any sort of complex schemes, which looks complex from the back end. Say, if you would like to sort of drive a certain transactions or increase certain market share in fuel category during the weekends, or your overall agenda would be drive, say, fuel transactions starting from Friday to Sunday. So all those campaign schemes basis certain merchant categories could be created from a front end. So we have parametered majority of the use cases, which allows the user to create campaigns on the go. Then there is the offers platform, which primarily hosts a lot of offers, and the analytics and BI tool, so this is again a very important feature, guys, wherein we offer dashboards, which could be, so if you have any certain requirement when it comes to dashboards, so that could be sort of created and configured, so that whenever the team logs in, and they would be able to create their own custom view with the dates and drag and drop sort of feature. Also, it encompasses a Power BI tool, which helps you create certain cohorts, which we'll be discussing in the coming slides. And then there is the rewards platform, wherein we have created our own redemption funnel, which will allow users to redeem their points across a range of benefits. Right? So guys, when it comes to loyalty campaigns, the platform doesn't restrict you to any single use case. You can, as I said, you could create a points based campaign, which could be a simple flat based, or it could also a very objective based campaign, as I said, like a fuel. If your objective is to drive certain market share on a certain category, then that category based module campaign could be created at your end, right? Similarly, there is a referral based campaigns which could be created for driving certain enrollments at your end. Milestone based campaign, as Jaideep said, so a milestone could be both, transactional or non-transactional. So on a transactional way, it could be 10th for every 10 transactional, or every 10th visit. You could reward, or for a lending, every fifth repayment of a loan, you could kind of reward the entire behavior to the end consumer, right? And then there is the events based campaign, guys. So this is generally, very much, popular in banking, I would say, wherein you would see a lot of events based campaign, typically birthday bonuses, anniversary bonuses, which banks keep on running. So not necessarily it has to be personal events. It could be, so the idea is the whole campaign could be created by the marketing teams, and we would be able to kind of configure it. Only thing is we would need certain data input from your end. The other part would be the social engagements, wherein any sort of social engagements or any sort of interactions with your social media pages could be incentivized. So this is where the platform looks at going beyond your typical transactional, loyalty. So we are also looking at areas where you would be able to kind of incentivize certain interactions, which goes beyond transactions, right? Now, this could be, certain feedback on your product. It could be a certain interaction on your Facebook page. So the range is really wide. So this is another concept. So we can also, build a certain gamified program around it. As I said, going beyond transactions is always the key. and hence having a task-based sort of program, assigning certain badges, and giving that recognition to the consumer. You could also, create a tier-based program. So all these programs, as I speak, it could be created from a front end. Right. Guys, the another feature which is the analytics module. So, as I said, we it really gives a 360 view of your total product in terms of the performance, also in terms of who's your consumer, what is the purchase pattern, and basis which you would be able to create certain customized campaigns for them. So these are the broad benefits of the analytics platform. You will be able to understand what is this consumer behavior, track certain enrollments and by month. So in terms of enrollments, you would be able to create certain cohorts, basis the month, enrollment month, which we could see in the coming slide. And also certain, visibility would be also offered in terms of redemptions and best performing offers. So in whole in all, I would say that it gives a fair understanding on the entire business, how your products are performing, or how, so which offers are getting consumed by your consumer. So basis which you will be able to see the inclination and create certain customized sort of service for them. So as I said, this is a sample sort of cohort which could be created for your consumers. So on the left side, you will be able to see certain enrollments, right? Enrollment basis the months, say April, May, June. And on the right side, you will be able to see the months, number of months on the, so for example, say 100 people have enrolled in the month of April 2019. In the first initial month, there was around only 92% retention. So what we have done here is created certain cohorts basis the overall retention, right? So what it will help you understand is which month enrollments has actually yielded more retention. So this could also be due to certain, growth strategies which you have adopted for your enrollments. So it gives you a fair understanding as in which month enrollment has given you what sort of retention, because at times, what happens is you will see a spurge in number of enrollments, but in terms of overall stickiness, it doesn't really go really high. Right. So when it comes to dashboards, as I said, we would be able to configure certain dashboards. These are some of the sample dashboards just to give you a fair understanding. And, basis your requirement, we will be able to configure it, and the team would be able to kind of overall drag and, choose the parameters and create a customized view. Right. So in terms of other reports, there is customer recency frequency monitoring, RFM report, so which could be created. Also, not just that, customers could be rated basis these three parameters, and we would be able to create certain customized campaigns basis these parameters. Now, say for example, a person who has been really frequent with say more than 20 transactions in a last 1 year, so that person would be rated really high in terms of customer frequency. And so if you would like to have some reactivation sort of campaign, then I would be having a data set wherein a customer who has been rated really low at say recency and frequency. However, they have scored really high on the monetary part. In fact, the customer who has been rated really low at the frequency part, but rated really high at the monetary part. So basis which you will be able to create a customized campaign and offer certain additional benefit, some additional lucrative offer which could be created, because that this is a consumer who has been rated really high at the monetary parameter, and once he sort of comes in, there's a higher chance of him spending more, right? So apart from that, as I said, offers platform is also something which has been integrated into the entire platform. Currently we have around 600 offers which could be extended to all the partners. Hyper personalization would be one of the features of the offers platform. So since we are able to understand the overall transaction behavior of these customers, which merchant category he's actually transacting in, so basis which we are able to personalize the entire offers experience for him. So not just that, in terms of offline offers, we have geotagged around 80% of the offers, and hence we are able to communicate the customer with the right offer at the right time. So for example, for reference, I would say that a consumer who's near by any airport, we would be able to kind of offer, or communicate the offers which are nearby that area, which is airport. So I know the other element would be the reward choices. So currently we are building our entire redemption funnel, wherein we currently there is travel, which is hotel and flight bookings, which are live. That is, customers who have accrued points would be able to redeem their points against hotel and flight booking. Not just that, guys, just look at it from a value added service which you are offering to your consumers. If the consumers doesn't have enough points, they will still be able to kind of book online tickets and pay through their card, right? And then there is entertainment, merchandise, gift vouchers, and recharges. So apart from these, we are also building the entire redemption funnel with extending these categories to bill payments. Currently, we are going live with BBPS, wherein the customer will be also be able to redeem their points against electricity bill or any sort of bill. And also there's another important feature which is will be going live is the pay with points, wherein the customers would be able to redeem their points against directly across merchant pages, right? So if a consumer is in at any merchant site, they would be able to directly link their points, link their program. Say, if you have X program, they would be able to link the X program to that merchant site and directly pay with points and complete the transaction. Another feature, another thing which we would like to draw your attention is the rewards platform. So we would be able to build a complete rewards platform encompassing a website and also a mobile app. There is if you have already have a mobile app, we would be able to create a certain rewards page of say in a app in app sort of feature for the reward segment. We would be able to power this through a PWA or a SDK, guys. The another element is accelerated program. So guys, while we started creating this platform for companies across, what we understood is, typically for any sort of program, one of the most important factor is, how soon the customer is able to redeem his points. So what we have seen is the average lead time in a typical banking program is really high. It is in fact around 8 to 9 months. That is, if I join any certain program, it takes roughly around 8 months. In fact, on credit card, it may take around 6 months for me to get a decent sort of reward. So we wanted to solve this problem for the customer, and we understood that banks are guided by certain margins, and hence we have created this program, and we have created this program with merchants, and we are trying to create an ecosystem with merchant networks, so that they would be able to sponsor certain points at a self-deciding rate, right? So here, what we are doing here is, we are accelerating the entire consumer journey. So the whole idea is to get the customer to redeem his points in first 3 months, right? And there is absolutely, in terms of benefits, there are benefits for the merchants also. They'll be able to kind of acquire customers and develop long-term relationships. So the other part would be the integration, guys. In terms of integration, I would say integration will fall onto two paths. I would bucket the data integration into two broad areas, which would be, one is profile level data. The profile level data would be the primary profile details, which is your name, and hygiene level details, which would be needed to help, which will help us execute a program for you. And second would be the transaction level data. So transaction level data is primarily something uh, which would be used as an input data for conferring for computing certain points, right? So these are the broad tool data which would be needed, and we could offer APIs which could pull in the information at real time. So, overall, as I said, the platform, the whole idea of creating a platform is not to give you a platform and a solution and tell you that this is how you would be able to run a program. It's allowing the product teams, allowing the marketing teams to create a program at their end, because you guys know your consumer really well, and hence you will be able to create certain customized programs at your end, right? The idea to come up with solution is to help you implement the campaigns and the programs at real time basis through the front end, and giving a 360 view of customers, and keeping everything as simple as possible, right? So that's about it, guys. I think we can move on to questions. I think that we have already received few questions.
Noel, I'll suggest maybe we cover UPI 2.0 and come at the questions together. In the
Sure.
meantime, attendees like would love if you can keep pouring in the questions. What we'll do is that quickly cover the presentation on UPI autopay, and then in combined just make it a open house for all the questions to commit at together.
Sure.
Just hold on to the questions and keep putting it in the Q&A panel as well. So over to you, Maulik, now to cover on UPI autopay, post which we will come to the questions.
Thank you, Anand, and thanks Noel and Jaydeep for running through such a great product on Inside. So I will keep it a little short in terms of speaking about what is UPI AutoPay, what how does it work, how any of our fintech here can join this program and can give this experience to the customer. So keeping it in a very short and brief session that will help, and then maybe we can have a Q&A. I think most of the team here would have heard about this part of the product that we launched, but we would run through some details on the today's session. So I also have Sandeep Ram along with me, who would be be alongside with me for any of some questions that you have. You can put it on chat. We would be able to answer those. So guys, really thanks to join, and I see 100 plus participants, which is a great forum to speak on the product of UP AutoPay. Appreciate your time, and so just to give you a brief summary, we had a great success with UPI as a product that we launched. We are clocking some 1.6 billion transactions on a monthly basis now. So the main mantra for the success on UPI we have seen is primarily because of the better customer UI UX that this product offers, right? Customer can pay on the go, real time, from his mobile, just by simple flow of by entering the pin over any third party app or even a bank app, right? So it's very flexible, where customer can pay from any app using any account to any merchant or to any person, and through mobile, which is most time that we spend on these days. So that was a big success of UPI, and now to take it ahead to the next level, where we want everyone to basically have the experience which would be even better than what they had on UPI. We have extended this product to a feature on the autopay. When we say an autopay, it would mean enabling the UPI product on a recurring payment, or you would say signing off an e-mandate for any payments which are recurring in nature. So while we understand not all businesses that are on payment side will require a recurring kind of an option, but majority of the payments can be looked into the automation side or a recurring side of the business. Uh, while this has been a great product to have come in the market. A lot of businesses would also look at taking this as an opportunity to create a product around it. So there would be fintechs who would want to use this stack and create a complete new product, which actually would be new to the market and get a business out of it itself. So every business today is working on a subscription model, where customer once coming to any of the platform would want to be linked to the platform and come again and again to use the services. So most of us today on COVID side, have a less of travel, and less of activity on the movement or physical movement, but we use a lot of online for even food ordering to entertainment to in fact a lot of people have now even been using taking up a small credits for buying online e-commerce as well, right? So a lot of fintechs have come into the business where they're giving a small ticket size loan to a customer on a real time basis, unlike the one which earlier was we wanted to apply, we used to apply through a credit card or through the bank account itself. So a lot of these use cases are evolving, and we would want to have our product rails going through that. So primarily, what is the UPI autopay? The UPI autopay is uh, extending UPI functionalities onto additional rails of recurring payments, or offering a e-mandate to the customer on the UPI. Current process of UPI as we speak is customer can pay using any of a UPI app. So customer himself as a payer can initiate or sign a mandate. And second is a merchant meaning it could be Uber, Ola, it could be Flipkart, or any biller who can raise a mandate request to the customer. So there are two approach, very similar to what we have on UPI, where customer can sign a mandate by himself, or there is a way where a merchant can also create a mandate and request customer to approve the mandate. Many use cases are there. Any of bill payments can be onboarded onto this. EMI, OTT players, insurance. We can look at even repayments of microloans, and many more, right? So I would also would understand here the forum would also come up with a very different use case as well as we go along. Uh, what journey specifically here for UPI would be very specific, that if you want to touch upon journey of any customer who is currently on UPI, uh, we could say that the journey here will be, let's say, if a given use case of an OTT player, right? Today, any one of us is going to Hotstar, Netflix, etc., to sign up for a recurring payments, right? Through cards. The journey for any of the OTT player, to give an example over here, is where a customer will go to any of the OTT player. He will select the plan for, let's say, monthly or annual plan, where he would select the choice of the plan and the amount given there. Let's say if it is a monthly plan of 299 rupees, he would go and select that plan. He will be taken to a page where he selects the payment option. In a usual scenario, the flow is where he has a cards as an option, he has UPI one-time payments as an option, and there would be an option like a UPI autopay. UPI autopay essentially will be selected once a customer would want to set up a recurring payment. Once he selects that, he would be asked to verify the information for which he is signing up the mandate. So it would display him information like frequency of the mandate that he's signing, meaning every month, value of the mandate that is signing. In this case, will be, let's say, 299 plan, and till what date this mandate will be active. So let's say for 1 year from the date he is signing off the mandate, and he clicks on proceed, post which he enters his UPI pin, like we enter in the normal UPI journey, and uh, a successful mandate signing, a mandate sign notification is received by the customer. So this is how the yeah, as simple as this journey would be. Like I said, a customer can go to uh, any of the app where he has signed off the mandate from to go and cancel, modify, delete the mandate. So that rights is with the customer. Also, when we talk about frequency here, the example that I gave you was on the OTT was for a frequency which is monthly frequency. But there are use cases where we can look at frequency like daily, weekly, monthly, or even quarterly and yearly. Right? And in some cases, there would be use cases where frequency is not defined. So customer would not know when he would be using the services, right? It would be not a defined frequency. For example, it could be Uber or an Ola or a e-bike. I would want to ride and want to make a payment on a recurring basis. I would not know the frequency. For that, we have an option as we already call as presented. So in as presented, whenever customer would avail the service, he could use that as a mandate option to debit his account from. So that is on the frequency side, and we also have an amount. So there could be a fixed amount for which, in case of OTT, we had a fixed amount of 299, which a customer had signed a mandate for. In case of some use cases, this amount would change every time when the bill is being raised, right? So, uh, in case of uh, let's say he is riding an Uber from one destination to other, he would not know what the bill amount would be, right? So in this case, he could sign up a mandate up to a limit of certain amount, maybe 1,000 or 2,000, which below which the value will be deducted at any point of time from his account. So the mandate flow is very simple. It has frequency, it has amount which can be fixed and which can be variable. So there are use cases depending on which those configuration can be done by the fintechs, and customer can be onboarded onto the mandate program. Uh, how any of the participant here can onboard onto this program. So very similar to what we do on UPI. Right? So UPI rails are extended to banks. Banks are already using these rails to further, channelize to aggregator and to the customer. So any of the merchant over here who wants to avail the service, very simple, can contact their bank and aggregator. They have the solutions ready now, and which could be integrated with their payment page or the aggregator page, and the service can be extended to them. So we have had a launch of this in our fintech festival, where we had also shown use cases, and we have a complete library of the videos and the use case that is there for every industry like insurance, travel, etc. We will share with the participant over here to get a complete in detail brief about it. So that is in overall from the autopay side, uh, and it is a very simple product. It basically rides on to our basic principle of interoperable solution, and also provides the best of the customer experience. So we would always wanted to challenge our own UPI customer experience that we had created. Now we want to enhance it more further with providing an autopay. The best way to provide the best customer experience is to not have a customer involvement in any future payments, right? So that's wherein we have come up with the autopay as a solution, and we look forward for participation from all the members here, and we I'm happy to answer any questions or stuff on this.
Thank you so much, Maulik. I think there are a bunch of questions that have already come at the Q&A one. I'll sort of direct them to you one by one. And I request all the attendees to fire in their questions in the Q&A one. If you want to ask the questions and elaborate, I will sort of call upon you, and you can, even come on and elaborate more on the questions. So first question is from Sanjay Shalke. I think this question is more for you, Maulik. The question being asked is any reason why mandate management charges are so high in UPI AutoPay compared to the NAC product? I know it can be very conditional, but I'll let you answer. Why don't you go about it?
Sure. So, see, I would say, it is very unfair to compare this product with the Natch product. Both have their own capabilities and both have their own limitation. So, if you look at the pricing of Natch, it is very much of the pricing which is specifically from the point of view from a scheduled payment, which was earlier been used for financial services, BFSI as a sector primarily for your, insurance, EMI, and all of those payments. This is more from a retail and the customer who wants to make a small bit of payments on the go, right? And pricing here differs because it has a different solution to offer, different customer experience, and still I would say it is not as high as if you were to compare with the customer coming to your portal or your payment system and getting failed, or if or even if you compare with the any other payment mode in the recurring side. So that would be the comparison with the other payment mode than we would to compare with Natch here.
Sure. Thanks, Maulik. I think the next question is for you, Noel and Joydeep, which is around the loyalty reward point. Is that available on UPI transactions as well? And how does that work?
Yeah, so I'll just answer that. So, brief answer, yes, it is definitely available on the UPI platform also. The thing is that the system can consume absolutely any payment instrument data that you want to feed it. One of my favorite use cases that I keep telling everybody that I pitch the M3 Rewards is that nobody has thought about using ATMs as a channel for loyalty. Now, you want to incentivize a customer to pull money out of a particular ATM, you want to drive footfalls to a particular ATM to avoid paying interchange charges. You want an ICICI bank wants ICICI ATM card holders to withdraw money from a particular ICICI ATM. They can even do that. So that's why I began by saying that let's not look at it only as a card-led program. You can definitely use UPI as an input into the loyalty program.
Great. Thanks, Joydeep, for answer that. Related question on Nth Reward, again, Noel and Joydeep, for you is this is in relation to, and this is a question from Arvind Asokan. This is in relation to Nth Rewards. Is there any possibility of a loyalty point interoperability between different merchants and companies?
Uh, yeah, so Jerry, I'll take this one.
Yeah, sure.
So basically, from a technology standpoint, so Nth Rewards has been created to give that single view to the consumer. So if you see the website also, so we have created a place wherein the customers would be able to log in and see a collated view of his entire, rewards program across all his relationships, right? So the idea is to sort of give that power of accumulation to the consumer. So from a technology standpoint, we have created this platform with the interoperability as a use case, but it will depend on certain business policies also. So if I have to involve Shopper Stop, then Shopper Stop has to agree on certain pooling of points. We definitely have the technology to pool those points from the customer's kitty in an individual Shopper Stop loyalty account. But it will definitely need certain level of consensus from the business.
Thanks, Noel. I think the next question, Maulik, is for you, and it's the highest upvoted question. In what cases the mandate can be cancelled? Essentially, if a UPI mandate is set,
कितने में डेबिट मार सकते हैं ना N number?
So yeah, so here uh, customer can cancel mandate at any point of time. So there is no restriction uh, as to when customer and for what reason customer can cancel the mandate. So customer has all the access on the app where he can go, he can cancel it, he can pause, unpause, he can modify. So all those possible scenarios are there. So those things are there with the customer to change it from the payer initiated app that he is using from.
Got it. I hope this answered on the question. I think the next question, which is upvoted, is uh, how different will be the user journey of autopay from net banking auto debit?
Right. So, see, this would be when we compare this with the net banking, auto debit, there will be change in signing of the mandate, right? So, customer when he is signing of the mandate, the customer journey is very different in case of UPI than in case of net banking, right? In case of net banking, you know a merchant cannot initiate the net banking transaction right over a phone. There could not be a collect like an option which you have it on UPI. So those that will be one change. Second is the complete information that customer enters while signing the mandate. Right? Customer need not need to put his login ID or passwords, OTPs, etc. It's simple. It goes as entering the pin that you do it on a UPI transaction. So it is a seamless flow than if we compare with the net banking.
Got it. This is a question for you, Noel and Jaideep. Like, can we create a tiered programs for the customers on the rewards loyalty program?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, Jaideep, please go
Go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead. Noel, please.
Yeah, so from a technology standpoint, so basically we would be able to kind of we are offering a certain module, in fact, wherein when the user itself, they would be able to create certain tiers at their end, right? So it's what we are enabling is a real-time creation of tiers, which could be further used for creating certain exclusive offering for their maybe some exclusive tiers, right? And creating that special or exclusive service for a certain range of tiers. So yes, to answer your question is definitely we have that functionality on the platform.
All right. Thanks, Noel. Thanks for that one. I think the next question is again from Malik for you. Do you see any increase in limit in near future for auto processing without PIN? Current limit is INR 2K. It's too small for segment like BFSI. It will be adopted for this industry in particular. This is a question I asked again by Sanjay Shalke and upvoted twice. Yeah.
So yeah, this is completely a call from the regulator. So if the regulator allows to increase this limit, we would definitely want to have this. But as we speak, this will take some time, and as we are progressing, we would have more transaction once on auto pay as a solution that will give confidence to the regulator to increase this limit. So any of our recurring payments that had started on e-mandate, right? They started with a smaller limit and then it moved to the higher limit, right? So this will be the similar kind of principle that regulator will look at. So to be very frank, we don't have any timeline to suggest because it's completely a regulator call here.
All right. I think a bunch of questions.
However, just to add on to that, if there is a limit about 2000 where customer wants to sign off a mandate, so it will be a pin-based mandate that a customer signs. So above up to 25,000, customer can sign a mandate and he can pay off by just entering the pin. So that kind of mandate is also possible if the use case is about 2000.
Got it. I think a bunch of questions coming your way, Maulik, which is expected given the excitement around the UPI 2.0. This is a question from Jatin Bhatia. He's asking about, will the merchant be notified when the user cancels the mandate, or the merchant will get to know only on the next debit? So he has a couple of questions along with that as well. We'll maybe go one by one on that.
Sure. So customer will be merchant will be notified if the mandate is cancelled. So as and when the mandate is cancelled, merchant will be notified by the bank or the aggregator is connected. So at,
The second question around this is when you presented, you mentioned that there will be variable amount and variable frequency. Will it be available from the first version itself, or we'll have to wait for next versions for this?
it is available with the yeah.
Yeah, I'll take this question. So
Yeah,
actually,
yeah, Mayur.
UPI as a product construct, we have developed all the frequencies, all the parameters. Now the acquiring banks or the PGs have picked up few of the frequencies, considering monthly being a priority for them. But as a product construct, UPI provides all these frequencies: your daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, as and when presented. So that the product capability is there. Only depends on what aggregators or the acquirers has picked up on priority. But most of them has completed most of the use cases. So I don't think we have to wait further for any further developments on the product end. I hope
Got
that's
it.
answers the question.
That answers, I think, yeah. I think the third question over there is any limitations on the number of debits that can be done for a particular mandate in 24 hours? Like if there is a mandate, multiple debit over there.
Yeah, so there is
Yeah,
go
Maulik,
ahead,
go ahead.
Mayur. Yeah, so customer can sign any number of mandates. So there is no limit. There is no limit to the number of debits. Sorry, in 24 hours. So there can be,
So Maulik,
n
let me add
numbers.
to this. Let me add to this. So while a mandate is been created on a frequency of as and when presented, right? We give an option to the customer that within a month how much max amount can be debited from his account. Customer gets to decide that he can put a limit of 10,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees. Okay. So even if in a day, if you want to do 10 debits of 2,000 rupees, he's able to do that, provided customer has given or allowed a limit of debiting around 20,000 rupees in an entire month. So customer decides how much max amount can be debited. Number of transaction is not affected, but maximum amount to be debited from his account is decided by customer.
Got it. Got it. I think there are a couple of related questions around integration for mutual fund, SIP, or insurance, micro insurance payment with UPI AutoPay. Any plans for that?
So yeah, those all use cases are possible, and any of these payments which are up to 2,000 on SIP or on insurance, micro, uh, loan repayments, all is possible. So those all are currently possible onto the AutoPay system.
That's what I thought. It's use case agnostic as long as
Correct.
2000 this thing happens. And of course, the question around MDR. Does MDR remain zero in that case as well for the merchants, and the extra charge would be levied for the mandate handling charges?
Yeah, Mayu, you want to take this up?
Sure, Maulik. I mean, though the MDR is zero for UPI, but there can be commercials which your partner maybe your aggregator or acquirer may or may not charge you. I mean, that is a discussion between a merchant and an aggregator. There is no such charges on UPI transaction as such, but your partner may or may not charge you for creating a mandate or having a maintenance charge, because the partner, the acquirer is managing the entire flow for you, right? So that is what we can say. That's a complete discussion between the merchant as well as his acquirer.
Got it. A question for you, Noel and Jaideep. Like, can we bring existing partnerships with brands on platform and keep it exclusive, right?
Yes.
So we can get the existing partnerships also on board.
Absolutely, yes. And we can put a wall around them to make it exclusive only to your customers. That
Got it. Malik, this again is UPI autopay
So,
question.
Anand, just 1 second. Rohit, I think, he put a question in the chat box that I would like to answer to the entire year. So, Rohit asked, when will the rewards platform be launched and when will it be available for consumption? So, the rewards platform has already been live. We officially launched it a couple of months ago, and we have 6 banks live on it right now, and we're expanding now.
Great. And guys, any questions around the loyalty program and on any one of them, please put it on the Q&A so that we can pick it up and answer. But I hope, Rohit, that got answered over there. Okay, so this is again a question on autopay from Uday Kumar, that what is the impact of autopay bounce? So if let's say there is an autopay set and there is a bounce on the autopay mandate, what is the impact on that?
So any mandate, hi Mayur here again. So any mandate which has been created, and let's say when a subsequent debit has to be done, and if that debit fails or bounces, merchant has still a retry option, wherein he can do 3 retries in a particular month. Yeah, and within those retries, merchant can debit customer's account. So the retry option is available there.
Got it. Got it. So, okay. Next question is around, does the MDR remain zero in the case as well for the merchants, and what extra charges? I think we spoke about rates, right? Or did this get answered, or Maulik, otherwise
Yeah,
you want to take
we
it?
discussed
Yeah,
this.
we
This is
answered
a
this.
complete discussion between the merchant and their acquiring partners. The commercial aspect is between them.
Yeah. So one question is around this, for setting the UPI auto pay, so far only Bheem app can be used, or a few banking apps. When will be able to set it up on Paytm, Google Pay, Phone Pay, and the other partner ones?
Malik, do you want to take that?
Yeah, so see, this is again work in progress. So you would see these apps going live very soon. So Paytm would be live around in this month itself. We are working on it, and the other apps would be Google Pay, Phone Pay are also, we are expecting them to go live as early as starting next month itself. So this is again it's an ecosystem which will will be ready very very soon. In fact. Beam is ready, as you know, but the other apps are also working very swiftly on to moving to this part as well.
Yeah, I think there is a rewards question, like on the integration with the bank. So, for example, the question here, Joydeep and Noel, is if a bank has UPI integration, does that automatically qualify it for the Nth reward, or will this be a separate integration altogether?
Yeah, so I'll take
Good.
this one. So, there is absolutely, in terms of integration, the nth reward integration would be totally different. So, a UPI would serve as a source for us, right? Similarly, like a debit card or a credit card, it's a source for us, and it has to be integrated with the nth platform, wherein we would execute the entire computation and building up the loyalty part, right? So these two are totally different buckets, and hence integration has to be done to sort of onboard a certain product, say UPI or any other product into nth.
Got it. That makes sense. So the next question again on UPI autopays is maximum amount capped to 25K or amount per mandate authenticated by customer capped to 25K. Also, if there is a cap for 25K, why 2K is a limit? So I didn't quite understand the question, but Molly, can you, if you want to take it, otherwise we can ask for a clarification on this question. Okay, I will probably skip
Yeah.
this question. Paras, if you can clarify the question and write it back again. This question was raised by Paras Malhotra. This will help us, and you can elaborate on the question. This will help us answer it better. In benefit of time, I will take only next 5 questions and try to answer them. Otherwise, I believe that all our panelists are available. You can send us questions on, I will share a forum to share the questions over there, or you can send them on Twitter and otherwise. Yeah. So I'm going to take the most upvoted questions, guys. You can check on the questions Q&A, and if you want to upvote some of them so that we can take it, that might make sense. We are going to take the next 5 questions around here now. So right now, Maulik, this is a question for you and the AutoPay team. Can AutoPay be paused? Is it a temporary pause? With what periods? What levers does a merchant have to handle these pause scenarios?
Yeah, Mayu, you want to take that up?
Sure, Malik. So I think customer it depends on the customer. Customer has the right to pause this mandate as long as you want. I mean, there is no specific duration decided in that case.
Okay. Okay. So customer can just define
I
what.
mean, see, we can look it as a way. For example, if that is allowed in a particular payment mode. See, merchant is if it is providing that functionality in case of a credit card, or let's say in case of a net banking, if a mandate has been created, and if similar pause functionality has been provided, right? So that depends on the customer how long he wants to pause it. So similarly, UPI being a payment mode, same things will be applicable there as well.
Sure. No, makes sense. It's a more power to the customer, like how he wants to pause. And I'm guessing that the merchant will be notified there that this has been paused for some time, and
Definitely.
accordingly will play with that. So a similar question along that line is, does changing the UPI MPIN affect the mandate? So essentially, if let's say I change in the MPIN in between, will that change and have any effect on the mandate standing instruction over there?
No, changing of MPIN does not impact, but in the entire process, you once a mandate is created on a particular UPI ID, that cannot be changed. But changing of MPIN does not impact the mandate.
This is a question for Joydeep and Noel. Is there any charge/platform fee for using the NH Reward platform? And if yes, then if you could just elaborate upon that a bit.
So I'll elaborate on the structure of the charges for Nth Rewards. There's only a basic setup fee for Nth Rewards. Post that, it's all redemption basis. So, Rohit, we can have an offline chat detailing the entire thing, but broadly, this is it. So we've kept the costing very simple and very transparent that way. So there's a setup cost, and then post that it is all basis redemptions. And if there is any specific customization, heavy customization needed, then that gets calculated as per man hours. And if you're using the communication channel, then there's an SMS and email rate. But there's no compulsion to use the communication channel. If you already have your SMS engine and email engine, you can continue to use that.
Got it. I think Paras has now elaborated his question. The question he was asking was 2K is the limit for recurring auto pay by RBI, but he has heard that the amount up to 25K is allowed if customer authenticates. But either way, the customer is authenticating. So what is the difference? Like in what cases can it be 2K? What cases it can be 25K?
I'll take this question basically. So, see, as RBI has allowed without customer entering the PIN, a debit can happen max up to 2,000 rupees per debit, right? But in case if a amount goes more than 2,000 rupees, customer has to input his PIN there, right? Customer has to input his PIN. So it does not become a proper auto pay kind of a solution, because customer will have to put his PIN and complete a transaction again in that case.
Okay. It's almost, yeah, got it. I hope that answered, yeah. And there is a follow-up question from Mayank on the UPI and the existing NH Rewards integration. The follow-up question is, as explained, since UPI and NH Rewards integrations are separate, does this mean that if a fintech who are working with a bank which has a UPI integration, we don't need the bank to integrate with the NH Rewards? Rather, we as a fintech can directly integrate with the NH Rewards. Do we need to go to the bank for that integration, or can we directly have NH Reward as a platform on with the fintech company?
Right. To answer your question, so it will basically depend on who owns the customer data. So primarily, if you are the person who is acquiring the customer, then it means that the overall integration efforts will be taken across Nth Rewards will be done with your platform, and hence the bank need not be involved in this.
Got it. Okay. So is it basically a platform integration with the fintech company? The bank doesn't
Absolutely.
Get it. Great. So last 3 questions, like this one is, if we are issuing a prepaid wallet, can we hot link it with UPI 2.0 autopay for directly debiting offline POS POS transactions in real time? Maulik or
Yeah, I'll take this question. Even if you link your, I mean, there are few of the entities who have posed this question. Uh, but while a card is being swiped at a POS terminal, okay, the merchant is expecting the money instantly, right? Or maybe whatever the T+1 TAT, whatever the T+1 TAT would be provided by the provider. But in that case, but if your card is linked with UPI autopay functionality, uh, unless and until customer is notified 24 hours prior that your amount is going to get debited, right, till that time the money won't get debited from his account. So the 24-hour pre-debit notification things comes in picture, right? And merchant or the customer does not know when he's gonna sorry, the merchant does not know when a customer is gonna come and tap on his tap or swipe the card on his machine, right? So looks a bit challenging prospect here, because the customer's account is not going to get debited instantly, but it is going to get debited 24 hours after the actual transaction has happened. I hope it clarified.
I think it did. But if anyone has a question, you can put it as a follow-up question also there. Yeah. But I think it made sense. Yeah. So the next question is interesting one is like, is autopay only for P2M or is it for, P2P as well? So basically Manoj is asking, any UPI ID can create a mandate, or is there any segregation between between the P2P or mandates?
Right now, the use cases, the UPI autopay is right live for P2M use cases only. Once we plan it to take it for P2B transactions as well, I mean, obviously the ecosystem will be made aware about that, but currently it is live for P2M transactions only.
Got it. The next question is how bounce memo would be provided in case of transaction failure under section 138? And is there a third-party validation feature available? These are two questions from Sanjay Shalke.
Maulik, I couldn't hear it completely, but if you may take it.
Yeah, sorry, my question is basically the question is that the bounce memo, how will it be provided in case of a transaction failure? Is there some compliance under section 138? I really don't know what section 138 compliance is. Probably Molecule and the team will know it better. And in third-party validation feature, is it available? These are the two questions posted by Sanjay Shalke.
I mean, I am not very sure on the first question. I'm not sure about the act as well. I can take that question and maybe as a follow we can reach out to you guys and tell you. But the third party validation question which was raised.
No, why don't we do that, Sanjay? If you really want to understand and we don't have the context around which you are asking the section 138 question, you might just mail it to. I'll send my mail ID and we can collaborate with the NPCI team and come back to you with that question answer. Yeah. So last.
There was another question on the third party validation is what I believe.
Yes.
So that is available. I mean, it's not a part of UPI as such, but the acquiring the partners, right? It's a development at their end. The teams are working on that. So that would already be available in case of your AMCs, NBFCs, where third party validation is required. So that solution is there.
Also, to answer the first one, so it does cover Negotiable Instrument Act of Section 138. So UPI does cover that for any of the bounces that a customer does. Merchant is covered with the Instrument Act. Yeah.
This is the last question that we'll take for today for the benefit of time. Other questions, I'll share my email ID and my Twitter account. You can sort of post those questions and we'll take it. And then we'll have the NPCI team as well, and we'll share probably a common email ID to which you have to send the questions. We'll figure that out and we'll circulate that. A recording of this video will be circulated as well, and then some contact IDs given for you to ask your query, for you to direct your queries. So the last question we are taking is that, is there a setup to identify all the current UPI autopay mandates for a particular user? Let's say a user has set up multiple mandates. How do you identify them? This is a challenge where once a mandate is set with CC or DC, it's challenging to find out active mandates and cancel it. So basically, like many people complain nowadays with the subscription economy that so many mandates get set that we don't even know. And then in that case, like money is going out from our account, we don't even know. So how do we, is there a view by which I can identify how many UPI mandates are set and which are they, and if we have to manage them, I can manage it as a customer. I believe I understood it right, sort of. Otherwise, feel free to type in other version. But this is a question which is in my mind as well, Maulik, and yeah. You want to take it, Maulik or Ronak? Sorry, you guys are mute. Basically, the question is that once multiple mandates are set, how does a customer have a one-place view of what are these mandates and how many such mandates are set over there?
So yeah, to answer this is very simple. Whichever app he's using to sign the mandate, he can go and have a complete view of it. How many mandate he has signed, what date, what amount, that is all visible. What frequency he has signed off, which merchant, that is a complete view that will be available with the app that he's paying through. So it could be Google Pay, Beam app, anywhere from which he is signing off, he can see that.
I think we only have last two questions. Why don't we just go ahead and take it and finish this, Maulik and Ronak? Kunjit Singh asked that in case of failed mandate debit, will the user be charged the same penalty from the bank as they are charged for failed NAC debit? So is there a penalty to be paid, like you set up the mandate but you have not maintained enough money to be for the mandate to go through?
You want to take that up? Yeah. Yeah, I
Maulik, you
think
want to take it?
yeah,
Or
yes. So, in case it is very similar to any other mandate, right? Where you can charge customers. So it is up to merchant. What kind of charges that he want to levy and specific to that. So it is up to custom. It's up to merchant where on which he signed the mandate and the charges that he wants to pay for the bounce of the mandate.
perfect. No, thank you so much, guys. Like, this has been a very, very interesting and very engaging conversation. So many questions. We will share a recording of this discussion, and there will be a mail ID shared with you to point your all the questions around NF reward or questions around the autopay to NPCI. And Joydeep, Noel, Maulik, Sandeep, and Ronak, like this has been a very, very good discussion. Thank you so much for taking out the time and sharing all the information with all the attendees over here. And,
Thank you, Anand.
Thank you, Anand.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Really
you. Thank you,
appreciate
Anand.
you and the team to
thank
set
you.
this up and all
Have
the
a good weekend,
participants.
everyone.
Absolutely a pleasure to do that. And thank you everyone for being there on a Friday evening. Hope you guys have a very fun and a safe weekend.